issues with Ja, because Ja's been Ja. I don't know when this came out, because like I heard about this. Man, I want to say like a week ago only, but like this might have been news that I missed in the summer. But apparently, over the summer, last summer, Ja had an issue where he pulled a weapon or threatened to pull a weapon on some, and like, so that's what people.
Just Reinhardt said, "What's up, gents?"
So, anyways, yeah. So he apparently threatened a weapon, like was tucking. And
threatened with a weapon.
Like he said he was gonna had a weapon with him or whatever. Which
right? Because can you really threaten a weapon?
Well, I mean, no threat. So I mean, like, and he makes millions of dollars, millions and millions and millions of dollars, and as a superstar in the NBA. So like, to hear that, you're like, first off, dude, what are you doing? Like, so I heard about this, and this, like I said, this might have happened. Raiders, by the way, Raiders.
Go Raiders!
Go Raiders! Love the Raiders.
Me too, man.
It's
a classic team.
Marcus Allen.
Is there any Chris Brown in there?
Hey, who? Chris Brown?
Chris Brown. You said there was Jim Brown.
No, there was no Tim Brown.
Tim Brown. Oh, I think you said Jim Brown.
No, Jim Brown was a Brown.
Oh.
Jim Brown is not going to be on the radar. There will be no Jim Brown even in the Browns.
Oh, isn't that disappointing, ladies and gentlemen?
Because Jim Brown.
It's sad.
It's a while back. Jim Brown
is kind of
expensive. Not going to be in this stuff. But anyways, so Ja apparently threatened homeboy with a weapon. Said like, I got a weapon on me or something. I don't know if they assaulted Buddy afterwards or like what it was, but this wasn't like outside a game. This was like out in just like the real world. Like,
oh, really? Okay.
This guy ended up being like some 17-year-old. So like something happened with this. And then just last night I saw, I think it was last night he posted it, but it might have been from the night before. But he posted like a live on Instagram where he was like rapping along to like an NBA YoungBoy song and like pulled like a gun out and like held the gun in the video for a second. Like, I don't know what he's thinking, dude. I don't know what John's thinking. Like the Memphis Grit, like he already like a month ago when he was talking about like no teams, I'm scared of none of them. Like, who's the only team you're worried about? Like, oh, I'm only worried about the Celtics. Like, I'm not worried about nobody in the West. Like, now the West has Durant. Durant's played a couple of games and is going crazy. He's bugging out for Phoenix. So like Memphis still doesn't have Steven Adams. You got Ja having now multiple times in the media in the last like a couple of weeks, I would say, because I don't know when that other thing happened. Obviously happened over the summer. I don't know if it really got released until recently. But now 2 issues where Buddy's had like things that don't look good as far as like a character standpoint. Did
it turn out to be his weapon though? Did they say? Was it like his registered to him, the gun?
I don't think there was a weapon brandish. I think it was like the I got it on me, don't test me, I got it on me or something, right? Like, so he was alluding to having it. But apparently they caught this somehow. I don't know if it was a witness or I don't know if it's like everything's on tape nowadays. You can't really go anywhere.
Everything's recorded.
Right, everything's being recorded, but like you were so much money, dog. Like, you were so much money. That's the thing that I don't understand is I don't get the compulsion to want to just throw it all away for some bravado or some like...
Neither.
And so I seen, I think it was Shannon Sharp, like 2 days ago maybe, talking about this. Talking about this and saying like, dude, you gotta like rethink some of the people that you're friends with when you come into the league. Like, it's a privilege that you've gotten these opportunities, that you're making this kind of money, that you've got these endorsement deals, and like they just cut Kyrie's deal. Nike did when Kyrie posted the movie thing, which
really yes, I remember that.
Received and all
that Amazon movie,
right?
Or it's being on Amazon or whatever,
right? Whatever the deal was, we won't get into that because that's a real shark infested water.
It's real muddled gray area,
right? But he lost his Nike contract for that. What do you think's gonna happen, John? Like when that comes out, and then only days later is there another thing where you're brandishing a weapon,
not looking good
on a live video, which that's just such a bad look, dude. Like the kid has all the potential in the world. Like he is otherworldly talent. The only thing that was like a real critique on him last year when he got hurt was the fact that he seems to always try to land like not flat-footed. He has an issue with landing like on one leg, going full speed, off balance when he comes off dunks and stuff. And that's how they think like he got hurt last year. And they've said if you go back and look at guys like Jordan and stuff like that, you'll see, unless they're like knocked off balance, they've always kind of like 2 feet are landing on the ground at the same time, like bracing because it's basketball. You're still jumping high. It's a big body.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like it because they're so lean, but they're just so 260, 250 pounds.
Well, of course,
there's some big dudes in basketball, right?
Right. Well, yeah. Why use only your ankle and one knee when you can use both to lessen the impact? Like, it doesn't make sense to not use it.
I've lost my.
Oh, you put on your.
Lost my microphone.
Oh,
Did I have it on at all? There we go.
There we go.
Now I've got my microphone on.
Here, flip it. Just turn it. It rotates
Oh.
because the mic's in your shirt now. Because you can rotate that little clip.
Oh, yes, you can.
Look at that.
Look at that. Look at the inventions they've made.
Yeah, see,
rotating shirt clips and the like.
Yeah, we got
We're
the
living in
microphones.
amazing time. Oh, I probably just missed it. That's what I did. Like a fucking noob.
Oh yeah, possibly.
There we go.
There you go.
That's that clipped on.
Absolutely.
Looking good.
Looking fancy.
So we've lost the entire microphone on my John Morant rant.
It might pick it up. There's 2 microphones, so it might pick it up.
I was yelling right at your pectoral muscles.
You
too.
were.
That was basically.
I
was
felt the
happening.
heat on it.
Right.
Kinda
Yeah.
like
Well,
Josh
I don't
feeling
understand
it
what
right
Josh. Right. The heat, bro. The media heat is going to be the thing.
Serious,
Like
dude.
you talked all this gangster shit about like the West not being deep enough.
Yeah.
All of a sudden now you've got Minnesota playing considerably better than Minnesota was playing at the beginning of the year. It almost looks like Karl Anthony Towns might be the problem that was the actual issue in Minnesota, because since he's been out, Gobert and Anthony Edwards have got tons of chemistry going, and Minnesota's pushing for an actual seed in the playoffs.
I was just reading before we started. I don't know if you read it too. Somebody, Clark from the Grizzlies, just hurt his ankle or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Brandon Clark?
Yeah, I just read he just hurt his ankle in it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Grizzlies...
Achilles, that's what it was.
Steven Adams hasn't been back all season, but like Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, they're really good. Like, they're a good team, but not if the NBA is constantly investigating your superstar over him going out trying to want to live a rap career or whatever it happens to be.
Right.
Because that is not going to be conducive to success. And that, I think, is the real overarching issue with a guy you're paying that much to, and you've got all your chips kind of in on him. Like, you're going to pay Bane, you're going to pay Jared. Like, Jaren Jackson Jr. is one of the best defensive players in the league. So, I mean, you're going to pay, these guys are still going to get paid right alongside John Morant. But John Morant needs to figure out.
So is John Morant rapping in this video at all, or no?
No, but he's okay. He's trying to participate in that lifestyle.
Well, you don't see
he's
LeBron
clearly
do that.
posturing for, and that was an example that was what Shannon Sharp used as the example. And I mean, that's a pretty strong example to say, like, you should have the people around you like LeBron, who they've built, multiple businesses, him and his friends from his youth, where they've blown up and they've started production companies and they sign endorsement deals and they do this and they do that. Not only just work for LeBron, but they've branched out themselves by becoming like really well known and networking and being honest and getting good deals done, right? Like, they all went to school for that. They all had this as like their projected plan. They didn't just fall ass backwards into this. It seems like he's like working off impulse. He's still working off trying to prove that he's like, you're John Morant.
Yeah, no doubt.
You're John Morant. It's good. You don't have to just keep like wagging your dick at everybody.
Right, you're already a superstar.
You're a superstar, dude, and people like
stay on track. Don't vary from it.
And people like you. Like, that's the thing. Is like
Shaq never did that with his rap career.
No,
and it was pretty bad. Like, he could have shot somebody off his rap career.
Shaq spent his money when he was young and like learned from it really early. Like, if you listen to Shaq talk, like,
he's smart.
Shaq is really smart.
He seems smarter than he looks.
Oh, Shaq is
you look at him,
smart.
he just looks like a big dumb teddy bear, because you can see he's like a big softy.
Right.
Looks like, but no, when you talk to him, he's pretty intellectual. About
when you talk to him, I talk to him.
I talk to him. Yeah,
when Shaq, what's up, Mick Reed? What's up, yo, Mick? Yo. So when Shaq Diesel does talk, I mean, he talks a lot because that show with Barkley, but like,
they have good chemistry.
He's a very introspective human being. Like, he is constantly, you can tell, thinking and like refining how he's trying to approach stuff. Like, Shaq's not somebody who just like rests on his laurels. Well, Shaq has kind of that like instinct to, even when he's debating, like, Shaq doesn't let Chuck get away with a whole lot of just like whatever. If Charles is pushing an issue, Shaq is happy to push back. And you're right, he's like soft in the sense that he doesn't use his like size to like try to push with things, but Shaq is still very verbose about who Shaq is, and like Shaq's a strong-minded individual. I like Shaq a lot.
No, me too.
Yeah, I'm a Laker fan. I mean, I hate that he left and went to Miami. I hate that him and Kobe couldn't figure it out. But like, we got Gasol. It worked out. Like, we didn't suffer the slings and arrows too much. Miami got one. Miami got a couple more with LeBron, but they didn't get more with Shaq.
Got one with Shaq, though.
But we got a couple with Gasol. So,
well, his career ended off on a high note, I think.
I think Shaq has had a
pretty good career run. Like,
Shaq's one of the greatest players of all time, top 10 of all time, right? And Shaq definitely had a career that, like, I think people could look back on and say is remarkable. Like, is really, really somebody who kind of defied the odds when it comes to like the size that he is, and the fact that guys that size predominantly, and I mean, there's been a lot of guys Shaq's frame, but Shaq's height get hurt. Right, they get hurt over their careers, and like Diesel just got bigger from Orlando to the LA to Miami to wherever he ended up as he went on. I think Boston, a few other places, but like Shaq got bigger.
Yeah, because he's sort of like LeBron, never kind of athleticism. Like he was kind of like that. He had built to him.
He's like 7'3" though.
Right.
LeBron's like 6'8".
And then he filled out throughout the years.
He filled out, but never really like started picking up like dramatic injuries. Like you see, that's what I'm saying. Guys,
he's proportioned well, though.
He's very proportioned well.
Yeah, like his legs are big. They're not like stick legs you see with a lot of these taller people. It's
real
skinnier.
It's one of those things where you don't see that. You're right, with a lot of guys where people have the dexterity to actually play.
Yeah.
When they get to that size, because they become really cumbersome, like scarecrows, and they bob around.
They run like Steven Seagal.
Now he sells printers. Does he sell printers? Shaquille.
Oh, I seen the commercial. He does.
I love Shaq, man. Like I hate that he went to Miami. I think that's kind of a bitch because like I thought we had something in LA that we could have kept winning with. So like I was a little perturbed when I was younger with Shaquille O'Neal, but like. Shaq's a good human being.
He is. He's absolutely
so I don't know. Ja could learn a lot from a lot of the examples that have come before him. Like there's a lot of NBA players that have made mistakes. There are a lot that have made financial mistakes. There's a lot that have made, unfortunately, the two together. Ja has all the potential in the world to make a bunch of money and not have that stuff come back and bite him in the ass. Mm-hmm. And he needs to worry about teams like Denver. Like he needs to worry about what Jokic is doing, going to win a third championship. When you start talking, or a third MVP, when you start talking about not being scared of guys in the West, you got to think of the Suns. You got to think of the Timberwolves. Like there's teams in the West you need to be scared of, which means you don't need to be on IG Live showing your dick to the world.
That seems just so stupid. Well, I don't understand why you. I guess you just
ego,
want that clout. Yeah,
complex, right? You got a mad complex for attention. And you can't separate yourself from being self-destructive because you want to be looked at as that guy in whatever capacity that means to you. But it's a silly sort of a road to go down because all you have is things to like. None of those people you're rolling with that are encouraging you to behave like that.
Nothing to lose.
They have you to lose. And you think they would protect you at all costs. You think you would be the guy they would protect at all costs. You're the one that's making the bag. You're the one that's having the success. And your friends of yours, you think would be making sure that never, ever would you be making these egregious, potentially life-altering risks. When you already have to worry about going out on the court and dealing with Jokic, dealing with Luka, dealing with Anthony Edwards, and potentially blowing a knee out or an ankle, and enough risks.
It seems just very.
You have to pee again?
No, very childish. I don't know why they would do that, or why he would do that. I don't know why I say they. Maybe it's forced to pressure into doing it.
I could. Well, definitely not forced, but I'm definitely concerned about it because like he's a guy that looks like he's got all the ability in the world.
Now, maybe what do you think? He's had a couple drinks in, and
doesn't that always kind of come into play?
It does,
right? Anytime you see action that seems like it's a little out of pocket, it's a lot of time predicated on either something not being right or somebody being on something. There's substance in some capacity.
Your judgment is not.
And I'm not saying that being under the influence of a substance is a bad thing, because it's something I imbibe in myself.
Right, a
But
little bit of
I'm-
inebriation.
But I'm
good,
saying that, yeah, there needs to be still accountability for your behavior.
Oh, absolutely. You have
So
to
you
have
can't
boundaries
be
for
out,
yourself.
right. And when you feel invincible, like apparently he does, that accountability is non-existent.
Yeah.
But you're hurt yourself a lot more than you're gonna benefit yourself, silly.
Right.
That's silly. What the fuck are you doing, man? Like, you could just do so much better. It's just
Hang with the
such
wrong crowd, maybe, or just feeling himself. He needed that ego boost or that ego hit.
So what about, so we talked about the West, I guess, now. So we've talked more than enough about Ja Morant and the Grizzlies and Denver and what Denver is probably going to do in the West, because Denver, if they're rolling the way they are with Jamal Murray playing the way he is, and Jokic got like 18 rebounds and 10 assists yesterday. He's ridiculous.
Right, that's some good scoring.
So the West is a wide open shooting gallery, because there is no hierarchy really in the West that you can discernibly say like that's the number 1-2 team, like you can in the East.
Yes.
Right? Boston, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Boston, Milwaukee are 1-2 in the East. There's no debating that one.
None. Okay.
Philadelphia is your number 3.
Okay.
Cleveland and the New York Knicks are battling it out for 4-5. They're going to play each other in the first round of the playoffs, no matter how this splits itself up. And the Knicks are hot, bro. 8-0 in their last 8. They won like 14 of 18. Brunson playing crazy since not going to the All-Star game. Dallas could use Jalen Brunson. That was so bad. Dallas got to be tripping, son. Brought in Kyrie, gave up Dinwiddie, gave up Spencer, gave up Dorian Finney-Smith, gave up lots for Kyrie. Not working out so far. The chemistry still looks to be quite suspect.
I wonder if they're feeling that right now.
They got to be feeling it when they see they had Brunson and they couldn't get the contract done with them. Because Brunson wasn't with the Knicks until this season, right? Brunson went over as a compliment, high paid, and justifiably so now, because you look at him as a compliment piece to Randall. They got Quentin Grimes, they've got RJ Barrett, they've got Obi Toppin, they've got Emmanuel Quickley.
Got some names over
Emmanuel Quickley is quietly becoming a guy from that LaMelo Ball, Tyrese Halliburton, Desmond Bane, Anthony Edwards draft as the guy who people don't see coming right now. But if you go look at his stats every year have progressively gotten better. He's only now starting to get a little bit more minutes. The Knicks are crazy, bro. The Knicks-Cavs series, I put that on my IG story. Knicks-Cavs series is going to be nuts.
Ooh, that sounds like,
because the Cavs are deep, crazy. Right? The Cavs got Okoro, obviously. They've got Garland. I mentioned Okoro first. People are going to be listening to this going like, Isaac Okoro got mentioned first. Yeah, I'm going through the roster on my head, right? They got Garland, they got Mitchell, obviously. They've got Jared Allen. They've got Evan Mobley. They're deep.
That's pretty good team.
They're crazy, bro. Cleveland's had the mad come up in the last year. Jared Allen. They brought Jared Allen in late last year, and Jared Allen was like an excellent little topping on what they were rebuilding with Cleveland. You could really see what they were doing. Him and Mobley, despite the fact that they're both really big guys, which didn't work with Gobert and Cat in Minnesota, obviously, because like I said, they've been playing better since Cat's been out and just been Gobert and Anthony Edwards. But with the two of them in Cleveland, with Mobley and Allen, the two big guys, they complement each other really well, which you don't see a lot of time with two big dudes out on the court together. But they play different kind of basketball. Mobley plays a little smaller than he looks, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Mobley's got a nice little jump shot. And, right, Jared Allen's obviously not the most offensive guy in the world, but they even on defense, they do a good job of complementing each other. And then Donovan Mitchell in the offseason to bring it, even though they gave up, what do you call that? It was a Pirates booty. It was a Pirates. It was some sort of. It
was a weird term, wasn't it?
No, some sort of phraseology for a whole shit ton.
Oh,
because they gave up a shit ton, so it was a Pirates booty. I'm gonna say
Pirates booty. That sounds right.
That. Right. So they gave up a ton to Utah to bring in Mitchell.
I like that.
And Mitchell's turned out to be what looks like now potentially an all NBA player for the coming years. I mean, Mitchell's still really young. So Cleveland went from being on the absolute outside, where the Knicks kind of were too, actually, to be honest with you. Even though Randall was good, the Knicks were having a really tough time getting anything going. But Cleveland was on the outside looking in. Couple adjustments. I mean, obviously the Mitchell pickup, they gave up a shit ton. So I mean, it was a big adjustment, but it was a couple adjustments, and a team that looked like it was in the year 2 or 3 maybe of a rebuild and still a couple of years out from being even a playoff contender has been running steady number 4 in the East for the entirety of the year.
Who do you think has the hotter team out of the two?
Right now, hotter Knicks.
Yeah.
Oh, the Knicks are quite a bit hotter. But I mean, when you talk about like the actual depth there, like, I mean, if Mitchell's been in the playoffs. Utah used to go to the playoffs frequently. Him and Gobert would make it to the playoffs. They wouldn't excel, which I think is what the issue was and why they blew that up, because both those guys are still like, I mean, Mitchell's all-star level. I don't know if Gobert would be considered like all-star level anymore, but he's had a decent second half to the season.
How old is Gobert now? He's got to be...
He's in his 30s.
Yeah, right?
He's in his 30s. I mean, he was Defensive Player of the Year a few times. He's in his 30s, early 30s, 31 maybe.
He has
got a few years left on that contract.
Good years, right? If he doesn't hurt himself, he'll probably get a few good years left out of there.
Doesn't seem to get dinged up as much as like an Anthony Davis.
No, what'd you call it last one? Like that, the yips.
The yips.
The yips.
The yips. Guys get that when they get a little right. Gobert's not. He's a little more flat-footed. Tough to get hurt when you're not really taller than everybody. He just kind of leans up and grabs rebounds. Everybody else has got to jump, right? He just kind of goes up there and just takes that shit from everybody.
That's pretty deep.
He's a beast, right?
Right, no doubt. Right?
So yeah, that's going to be an excellent series, because I think no matter how it shuffles out, they're not going to take over third. No matter how hot the Knicks get, they're not going to jump Cleveland and Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So they're not going to jump both. So they're 4-5. So no matter who ends up, it's just going to who ends up with home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs. And that's going to be a series that's going to be like dynamite. As long as we get no injuries going into it, as long as everything for the next like 12 games or whatever it is, 14 games, rides out.
Play smart.
Just ride. Well, we want competitive basketball.
Well, we do.
No, but let's no injury bug, because like, that'll make for a hell of a first round series, because I don't think the East is going to have some just people get stomped.
So we got to do our, what do they do? Like, they have like ceremonies for certain games.
Right. And I don't like the Knicks I like the Cavs all right, but I don't like the Knicks that much. But I'm okay with this, because these two teams have come on really strong and played really good basketball. The Knicks team is a team that's interesting. It was well built too. You see a lot of pieces now that didn't look like they fit last year starting to finally come together. And it almost seems like the Knicks like had a plan. Like, I know they've had plans before when they brought in Melo, and they had plans when they brought in Amari Stoudemire. Like,
I think they always have.
They've always had plans, right? But like nothing since Stockton and Starks, or since Ewing and Starks. I don't know how Stockton got in there. Ewing and Starks.
Right, Stockton.
Right. I don't know how that really. That sounds like a good cop duo, Stockton and Starks.
It really does, doesn't it?
Right. That sounds like something we could put into pre-production.
Right, I think you could just sell it on the name alone.
So Knicks haven't had really a team that's been where you're thinking, damn, like they really got something that they've like built here. They like picked up that one big free agent in Brunson last year, paid a little more than I think a lot of people on the market were thinking Brunson was worth. And now you see that Brunson like wasn't just like benefiting off Luka in Dallas. Brunson was a beast.
Oh yeah.
Like, and Brunson's a beast now with Randall. Like, him and Randall are buddy. Now that they're in lockstep, like, it looks like a team that has, the East is deep.
Yeah.
Like, when you consider that they're all, like,
seems like there's structure to it.
Well, we're not even talking about Milwaukee, Boston, or Philadelphia, because they're just even a tier higher than that. The East is deep. The West doesn't have.
I wonder why the West is fucking just like hanging behind.
Well,
what's going on over there?
I think some of it is just chemistry between guys don't always work. So you bring in guys and you hope that guys are going to, because like you got to think, like, even the teams that fail that bring, like, did anybody think Sacramento was going to be as good as they are this year, like over in the West? Nobody
I think they
saw
kind of
that.
just came out of nowhere with
because everybody was on them about the Halliburton deal. Like when you go back to last year when they traded Halliburton to Indiana, because Halliburton's turned out to be like, buddy, Halliburton is a gangster. He made an all-star game. He's an assist machine. Like, Indiana's in a rebuild, but Halliburton in and of himself looks like a player who you're going to get another decade out of it, like top end.
Yeah.
Like, because he's just basketball IQ to the like nth degree, where you can see this guy is just he is groomed for this. Like he knows exactly how to execute on a basketball court to make people around him better. There's no ego involved. There's no, it's just like, what is the play?
It's about the team.
He is phenomenal. So people were really on that because like they were like, well, Halliburton was doing good and so was De'Aaron Fox, but they weren't doing good together. Maybe the problem was De'Aaron. And they got rid of De'Aaron Fox and brought in Sabonis when they traded out Halliburton. I don't think people gave them a chance. And now those guys look ridiculous together.
Oh, man.
And De'Aaron Fox has turned into what everybody kind of talked about him being early in his career, which was like one of the most clutch players in the league. Now he is doing that, but like in his prime years where you see like fourth quarters, De'Aaron Fox like can take it over. He just can reshape a game, and the Kings like he just puts him on his back and like moves. And
that's talent, man.
Kings are crazy, but they're not gonna. I don't think they have the playoff experience. Well, even though they're going to finish in a nice spot, I don't think that they're going to make a kind of run because you're still going to bump up against some iteration of a team that has tons of playoff games under their belt, under their players' belts.
Yeah,
right. You're going to bump into the Phoenix Suns, who Booker's been there, Paul's been there with a million people, like Durant's been there, right? Ayton's been there. Everybody's been there, been on runs. And I don't know if you're going to have the bag of tricks to pull from. It's tough when in basketball as a young team. Look at Jordan got smashed in the first round. How many years by Cleveland?
True, yeah.
Right? The Cleveland was smashing Jordan. And then when Jordan got through Cleveland and finally won in the first round of the playoffs, he bumped up into Detroit, and Detroit put a beat on him for a few years until he decided, like, I'm going to put on some weight. I got to like hit the gym because like Bill Laimbeer and stuff are smashing into me. So I'm not sure that Fox, not that type of basketball is played anymore, but I'm not sure that Fox and Sabonis have that playoff metal that they've tested enough times where even if they do get hot early in the playoffs, I'm not sure they're going to go more than maybe a round or two.
Right, they don't have the length to go.
They might go, they could maybe get out of that first round. Then I think they butt up against, because there is, even when you're talking Dallas, if Dallas, let's say, finishes 6th or whatever, 5th, and plays Sacramento, I think even Kyrie and Luka, they've got more. Like Kyrie's won championships, right? Luka was in the conference final last year with Jalen Brunson. Like, so Luka knows these guys have been there. So even though they might not have the major chemistry game in and game out, and when they get up against some teams that like start really hunkering down on them, like the Phoenix Suns possibly could. Or Denver. I think Dallas could probably still beat Sacramento just because the talent level of Luka and Kyrie are better than De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. So yeah, I don't know. Basketball's nuts right now.